In the heart of the Roman Republic, amidst the grandeur and the glory, there existed a darker side, a world where men were forced to fight for their lives. A gladiator named Spartacus dared to dream of freedom, a dream that seemed impossible in a society built on the backs of slaves. Born in Thrace, a region known for its fierce warriors, Spartacus was captured during a military campaign and sold into slavery. His life, once filled with the promise of freedom, was now reduced to chains and servitude. He endured the brutal life of a gladiator, trained to fight and kill for Roman entertainment. Each day was a struggle for survival, a test of strength and willpower. In 73 BC, he ignited a rebellion that challenged the might of the Roman Empire. This was not just a fight for survival, but a fight for dignity and freedom. Spartacus, along with about 70 other gladiators, staged a daring escape from their school in Capua. Their hearts were filled with hope and determination. Armed with whatever they could scavenge, they fought their way free, their hearts set on reclaiming their freedom. They knew the path ahead would be fraught with danger, but they were ready to face it. This act of defiance was the first flicker of the Third Servile War, a conflict that would shake Roman society to its core. Spartacus's rebellion was a testament to the unyielding human spirit and the eternal quest for freedom. Spartacus's time in the gladiatorial arena was a brutal teacher. It honed his skills, pushing him to the limits of human endurance and beyond. Every fight was a lesson in survival, every opponent a new challenge to overcome. It instilled a deep understanding of combat, not just in terms of physical prowess, but also in the mental fortitude required to face death repeatedly. Spartacus learned how to lead men in the face of death, inspiring them with his courage and determination. His leadership was forged in the fires of the arena, where only the strongest survived. The skills Spartacus learned were not just about brute strength, they were about strategy and exploiting an opponent's weaknesses. He became a master tactician, always thinking several steps ahead. Spartacus understood that victory often depended on outsmarting the enemy, using their own strengths against them. He taught his men to be adaptable, to think on their feet, and to never underestimate their opponents. He understood the importance of terrain, surprise, and the psychological impact of a well-timed attack. These elements could turn the tide of battle in their favor. Spartacus knew that a sudden, unexpected strike could demoralize the enemy, causing chaos and confusion. His ability to plan and execute such attacks made him a formidable leader. Spartacus was a charismatic leader who inspired extraordinary loyalty in his followers. His men were not just soldiers, they were a brotherhood, united by a common cause and a shared sense of purpose. This understanding allowed him to forge a united and motivated fighting force, a group of warriors who would follow him to the ends of the earth. Together, they became a formidable opponent for the Roman war machine, challenging the might of an empire with their indomitable spirit and unbreakable will. The escaped gladiators, initially numbering only in the dozens, were a ragtag group of men who had managed to break free from their captors. They were driven by a fierce desire for freedom and a deep-seated hatred for their Roman oppressors. However, their newfound freedom was short-lived as they soon found themselves pursued by Roman forces. The Romans, determined to quash this rebellion before it could gain momentum, sent soldiers to hunt them down. Spartacus's gladiatorial training quickly transformed this band of fugitives into an effective fighting force. Under his leadership, they honed their skills, learning to fight not just for survival, but for a cause greater than themselves. One of their first major encounters with the Romans occurred near Mount Vesuvius. The rugged terrain provided a strategic advantage that Spartacus was quick to exploit. Spartacus used the terrain to his advantage, positioning his forces on the slopes and utilizing guerrilla tactics to ambush the Roman soldiers. His knowledge of unconventional warfare allowed his smaller force to outmaneuver the larger, more disciplined Roman legions. This victory was a huge morale booster for the slaves and a blow to the psychological dominance of the Romans. The sight of Roman soldiers retreating in defeat was a powerful image that inspired hope and courage among the rebels. The victory attracted thousands of new recruits to Spartacus's cause, swelling the ranks of his army with escaped slaves eager to break free from Roman tyranny. Each new recruit brought with them stories of suffering and a burning desire for vengeance, further fueling the rebellion. The victory at Mount Vesuvius was a testament to Spartacus's ability to use terrain and surprise to his advantage. He understood that the Romans preferred open battlefields where their superior numbers could prevail. Spartacus knew that the slopes of Vesuvius would be a nightmare for the heavily armed Roman legionaries. He set ambushes, attacked supply lines, and forced the Romans into engagements on his terms. This unconventional warfare baffled the Romans, who were unprepared for the tactical ingenuity of the slave army. The victory at Vesuvius was a masterclass in asymmetrical warfare, resonating throughout the Roman world. Following their successes near Vesuvius, Spartacus and his forces continued to confound the Romans. Spartacus knew that he could not defeat Rome outright. The empire was too vast. His aim was to escape the Italian peninsula, to lead his people to freedom beyond the Alps. The slave army, now numbering in the tens of thousands, began a long march northwards. Along the way, they continued to evade and harass the Roman legions sent to quell the rebellion. This northward march was a testament to Spartacus's leadership and the resilience of the slave army. Despite their remarkable successes, Spartacus and his followers were eventually trapped by the Roman legions. The Roman Senate dispatched a massive army under Marcus Licinius Crassus to crush the uprising. The final confrontation took place in 71 BC near the Salaris River. Despite being vastly outnumbered, Spartacus and his rebels fought with incredible courage. The rebellion was ultimately crushed, and Spartacus met his tragic end on the battlefield. Though defeated, Spartacus and his followers left an indelible mark on history. The Third Servile War had a profound impact on Roman society. It exposed the inherent weaknesses of the Roman slave system and the potential for rebellion. The specter of Spartacus continued to haunt the Roman psyche long after his death. His rebellion served as a potent symbol of resistance against oppression. The echoes of his rebellion could be felt in subsequent slave revolts and calls for social justice. Spartacus's legacy continues to inspire, reminding us that the human desire for freedom can never be truly extinguished.